Last episode, we checked out the classic game based off the arcade game, Punch-Out on the NES. Now it's time to see the game that really followed the arcade games, Super Punch-Out on the Super Nintendo. After 10 years since the arcade game was released, they decided to make the sequel very familiar to the original roots.
I gotta have to say, it might be a good concept for this one, so I'm just gonna have to find out if they follow the same formula. There are some questions that might be asked, like, will it follow the arcade games? Will there be new characters? Will there be old characters? Well, if you take a look at the front of the cartridge, you might know that 3 opponents actually make a comeback in this game. Well, nothing else to say but to pop this thing in and find out.
Okay, first off, the opening is just fucking badass. Mac is getting ready for his comeback, and the crowd just goes wild. Yeah, bring up the tension, bring up the tension. Anyway, the concept is same as the NES game, but the gameplay is just changed a bit. They want to do it the same way as the arcade games, but let me explain how this goes. You fight your opponent in the ring, which of course is obvious, and every punch actually shifts the opponent from each side that you've actually punched them. For example, if you punch them left, they go to the right. If you punch them right, they go to the left. I know it goes opposite, but it's different. But instead of star punches you get in the NES game, you got knockout punches. They're not as limited as the NES game. No, you can actually use them as many times as you want.
Well guys, it's kinda like the NES version because there's actually one problem. Kinda like the star punches in Punch-Out, you can't actually abuse the knockout punches because they'll actually block it every time they do it, or better yet, dodge it. That could be a bit of a pain.
The controls are almost the same, but you can actually change it up a bit with any punch that you want to punch with. You can choose any button you want to choose. I like to use it like the NES controls. Well, yeah, that sounds nice. Well, there's nothing else to talk about instead of, well, what can I say? New opponents. Gabby J. The same as Glass Joe, but older. Moving on, Bear Hugger. A fat Canadian who has no weakness to the stomach. Man, what a fat ass. Piston Hurricane. Lifted from the arcade game, Hurricane is supposed to be the real Piston Honda from the NES game. Seriously, can you tell the difference? Bald Bull is back and I'm not fucking happy about this! And if you've seen the last episode, you know what I'm talking about. Bob Charlie. He's a mixture of Bob Marley and the stereotypical Jamaican. I don't know why. Dragon Chan. A mixture of Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and he used fucking karate like a cheater. Seriously, this is a boxing game, Nintendo. What's the deal? Mask Muscle. If this guy spits in your eyes, you're dead in 2 headbutts.
Fuck!
Mr. Sandman is back again, and I gotta say, why do they have to make him weaker? Well, I guess it makes sense, because it makes it easier for me. Aaron Ryan. A scary Irish fighter with a nasty attitude. Look at that pissed off face. He makes me feel insulted. Hey, Kagero. Don't you get confused by this. He's a man. Get over it. Now come on, how can you actually take this seriously when a girl grunts like this? Yeah. Doesn't make sense to you, huh? Mad Clown. The Italian class clown of the fighters. No, seriously, he is a clown. I gotta say, Super Macho Man got even more gayer than the other game. But he's still a good challenge because he has the same moves from the original game. Now one more thing to talk about the gameplay is that there is no 3-round rule. I'm serious, there is no 3-round rule. You have to beat your opponent in around 3 minutes, and if you don't, you'll automatically lose and you have to take the walk of shame right to your room. Alright, so we have 3 circuits just like in the last game and I already beat them, so why am I still playing this game?
People, I really wish this game would end too, but there's one problem. There's another circuit in my hands. So, forget it. I'm not gonna torture myself to go through this. Well, why? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the reason because it really pisses me the fuck off! Because that's all you want to see, isn't it? You want to see someone get angry. Dance, monkey, dance! Oh, man, I'm going to hell. I gotta go down. Okay. Alright. Let me explain why this is really pissing me off.
Alright, the last circuit is a special circuit. Let me talk about this before I end this. First off, Narcissus Prince is just a tease. His only weakness is that he just hates to be punched in the face. Half of the fight is just Snoresville, but the real fight gets real juicy when you get him really pissed off. That's what I really want. I totally gave up this game because of one opponent, Hoi Quarlo. He's a cheap bastard, I can't figure out his patterns, and he carries a fucking stick in the fight? That is shit!
Just get. Come on, get punch him! Fuck you Asian shit! You're worse than Mako! Whoops, got carried away there. No one fucks with Mako.
So that's it, I give up. There's only 2 more opponents anyway. The last 2 are the Bruiser brothers, and Bruiser is making a perfect sense for their last names, because they are so freaking hard. I'm not gonna torture myself to get through there. Thank you, and fuck you, Hori Quarlo. You made me give up on this game. I'm gonna have to finally conclude and say that this game is really good up until the last circuit. The gameplay is really smooth and it feels satisfying every time when you punch someone. That's juicy. The music is still satisfying for each circuit that you're in instead of the first game where it has the same one over and over and over again. The design of the characters are actually more smoother and I gotta say really colorful. I really like it how it does. And I like the new adaptation of how the game will happen if it was the arcade version. And I would say that it actually holds up after 10 years.
Bottom line, it's a great game, but it's hard as shit at the end. I'll never beat it as long as I can.